The High Performance Body, the practical guide to look and feel good. That's the title of my very first book, and I'm nothing but hyped to basically become an author soon. Isn't that super cool? Now in this episode, I want to tell you what the book is about and more importantly, what you get from reading it. So first things first, why did I choose to write a book in the first place? The answer to that is actually pretty simple. The past 2 or 3 years in my life, they've been pretty adventurous, very chaotic, very chaotic. It was a stressful time and life challenged me to the limit, to the absolute limit. I was literally in this dark tunnel, couldn't really find a way out. I was looking for light and I was just pretty lost, to be honest. However, once I eventually found this light at the end of the tunnel, I came out and people were asking me, how did you do that? How did you push through such a difficult time? How did you manage to build your own business whilst working a 9-to-5, whilst having a newborn at home, whilst dealing with relationship issues, whilst being abroad without friends, without family, whilst learning a new language and dealing with foreign culture, and how I managed to stay in top physical shape even with all the craziness going on in my life. So I decided that I'm going to write a book about exactly that. I'm going to write down what helped me to push through this difficult time. I'm going to write down what strategies I've used and still am using to be productive and efficient with my time. I'm writing down how I eat, how I manage to have a six-pack even when I eat out on a regular basis and without tracking and counting calories. I'm going to write everything I'm doing on a daily basis so others can implement one or another things too. And so I sat down. I've been writing over the past 6 months, even a bit longer. And I've been writing every single day for 45 minutes. And now in June 2022, I'm going to launch the book so that people can finally read it. And I'm super pumped, as you can tell. The book is basically split up in 4 chapters. We have the first chapter about my story. We have a chapter about my diet and training. We have a chapter about training and working out. And then another chapter about the mindset and healthy habits that I implemented and that you can implement too in your life. And I'm going through all of these chapters now, explain what they contain so you have an idea of what you get when you decide to read it. So chapter 1 in the book is all about my story, and honestly, I could write an entire book just about this. If you've been following me for a while, then you know what I've gone through. I'm gonna give you now a quick rundown, a quick summary, so you get an idea of what I've gone through and actually, who I am really. So my journey actually began 8 years ago when I was in Switzerland, where I grew up. I would work in IT first and then in online marketing. I would have my family and friends here. My big passion was working out already, fitness. This actually started way earlier when I was 16. But the point I'm trying to make here, I had a rather regular, average, organized life. Whenever I would take time off from work, I would travel. I love to travel on my own, always alone. Whether it was like United States or Australia or like Hong Kong, Croatia, Bali, Dubai, you name it. I traveled those destinations all by myself and absolutely loved it. One particular destination I need to mention here was Perth, Australia. There I fell in love with a Brazilian. And it's a super funny story because like we used a dating app, we met each other, and literally the very first date we had, we fell in love, and we tried to keep that up. Now, just the start of the story is absolutely crazy, right? I fell in love with a Brazilian in Australia, and we tried to make this relationship somehow work. Now, long distance relationships usually don't work that well. There is obviously exceptions. Nevertheless, we said we're gonna try it, right? So it's me back in Switzerland, it's Gabriela back in Brazil, and we even managed to successfully run this relationship for a while. She visited me in Switzerland, I visited her in Australia when she was still there, and we had a good time. It somehow worked. We would chat often, we would Skype often, we would talk to each other very regularly. Eventually, I mean, again, long distance relationships are very difficult. We decided to finish this. Like, we talked about having a mutual future together, but you know, just thinking about leaving everything behind and moving to another continent and then leaving friends and family and work, no, nobody is willing to take the risk, right? So we split up, and then it was winter of 2017 when I wanted to escape the cold winter here in Switzerland. And I didn't know really where to go. So I spontaneously asked Gabriela, now I'm giving it away. This girl is today my fiance. So I'm asking Gabriela, what do you think of me visiting you in Brazil, even though we're not together? And then to my surprise, she said, yes, let's do that. Let's go to Rio. And that's what we did. We basically continued where we left off. We had a great time. Obviously great food in Rio, churrasco. And after that, I would go back to Switzerland, back to my regular life, back to work and online marketing. And then next happened something that completely changed my life, my entire life. I still remember this evening when I received the call from her, and she was crying, and yeah, she would tell me that we're going to be parents, that she's pregnant. And I tried to stay calm because I heard in her voice like she's completely lost, doesn't know what to do. So I tried to navigate her and calm her down, say, okay, it's going to be all right and everything. But the moment I hung up, dude, like all the questions that came up, like, what am I going to do? Will I go to Brazil? Will I raise a kid now here in Switzerland? Like, did I just ruin my life? These were literally thoughts that were going through my head, right? And it was like a huge shock at first. It was really, really shocking. I mean, I had a job here, I had friends here in Switzerland, I had family here. And yeah, I mean, I was 26, I was basically a kid myself. So how the hell could I basically raise a kid when I'm literally one myself? And so over the next couple of weeks, we considered all the options. Me moving to Brazil, Gabriela moving to Switzerland, the two of us moving to Portugal. This was an option too. And eventually I decided I will leave Switzerland, I will go to Brazil. And yeah, that's what I did. Packed my my luggage. Actually, just a few weeks before Laura's, my daughter's arrival. So just a few weeks before that, I would go on the plane, travel to Brazil, left everything behind, like my friends and my family. It would be just like, okay, I'm going to Brazil now. I don't know anybody than my girlfriend at the time. And yeah, what welcomed me there was like a very, very tough environment, to be honest. For once, we had the newborn on its way, right? And we also lived together for the first time ever, me and Gabriela. So we lived together for the first time, and she was also pregnant. This alone is like, you know, a crazy combination. Anyway, I also had to organize visa, apartment, a car, a working place in a very short time frame. I had to organize everything for the baby, the stroller and the food and like diapers and you know, what do I know about babies? I was just lost. I was like, you know, it was super somehow funny somehow also very, very stressful. And then the cultural differences, of course. There I am in Brazil. I cannot speak Portuguese. I remember sitting at the breakfast table with Gabriela's mother, and we were just there. I couldn't speak a word Portuguese, so we would just like look at each other, and I'm like, there, okay, dude, breakfast is awesome, thumbs up. It was highly uncomfortable. I still worked for the agency, so luckily I could bring my work, but that also meant that I didn't have a single day off, even during the travel from Switzerland to Brazil. I had no friends, I had no family there, I had no one to talk to, no one I can ask for advice. A lot of change. Literally my entire life just changed in one day. Basically, I started a new life there, and it was a very, very tricky process. Besides, I still wanted to work out, right? Like 5 times, 6 times a week was my standard, and now with the newborn, and like, it was just like crazy, really. We also then faced postpartum depressions, which didn't help at all. Made it just like much more complicated. And yeah, as you can imagine, it was very, very hectic, very, very stressful. A dark time, really. It was a dark time. Like, yeah, Brazil was good fun, and I experienced so many things. But right there, the start with so many things going on, this was just brutal. And yeah, I really faced my biggest challenge of my entire life. But now, fast forward 3 years, I returned to Switzerland, basically as another person. I'm a father now, in a better shape than ever before. I'm having my own business. I no longer work for someone else. I even have my own team. I'm no longer this average, regular guy, right? Now I'm, someone who has a rather adventurous and hopefully also inspiring life. In the book, I'm literally sharing the entire story because, again, this was just like a rundown in a few minutes. I open up about what we went through as a family, what I went through as a foreigner in a country where I don't know anybody, and then most importantly, what I learned along the way. So yeah, this is pretty much the first part of my book. Then I go into some basics of fitness and health and explain why it is essential to look after oneself. And this is something that my fiancé and I had to learn as well when we just got parents, because what we realized is that we only can be good parents and good partners when we are okay with ourselves first. And this also applies to, let's say, be a good leader, be a good coworker, be a good friend even. Thing is, if you're not okay with yourself, if you neglect your health, your fitness, if you feel rather lethargic, run down and tired all the time, then guess what? All the other areas in your life, like family, relationship, work, they start to crumble apart. It's just like reality. That's why it's so important to prioritize fitness and health. And then pretty quickly, I go into the topic of nutrition, because as you know, it's the main factor that can get you into best shape ever. It also makes you feel more energized and increase your well-being. In my opinion, diet and nutrition is something that is oftentimes overcomplicated by all these, influencers. There's so many diets out there, and you just don't know what is true and what not. And also, like most diets, they are not sustainable nor practicable for the average Joe. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you Google Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's meal plan, and you find like a list with all his meals, and there's written, okay, at 10 o'clock you have to eat rice, broccoli, and chicken. Now, for the average Joe who works in an office, who has like a lot of meetings, full calendar, that's just ridiculous to eat like rice, broccoli, and chicken at 10 a.m. in the morning. He will not be possible to follow it even if he wanted. And so in the book, I explain my approach to nutrition. I show how I eat, how my main meals look like, how my snacks look like. And eventually, and this is where it gets interesting, how you can build your own diet template. Okay, diet template is a system that I created for myself and my clients. And there's literally a step-by-step guide that shows you how you can build a diet template. Whether your goal is fat loss, even have a six-pack, build muscle mass, or just feel better and more energized, a step-by-step tutorial how you can put together your own diet template. It's literally the same approach I'm using for my online coaching clients, and they get great results. So this chapter right there, it's gold. Then I have an entire chapter just about working out. Working out is obviously the main factor to build muscle mass, even lose body fat, and just like sculpt a great physique. However, there is so much more to it than just building a muscle and losing body fat. Exercising can indeed help you move better, be more functional in your day-to-day life, and also deal better with stressful life situations. Now, the harsh truth is not every workout suits everyone. And oftentimes people focus on the wrong modality. They do the high intense workouts when they should do like low intensity stuff. They go for a run when they maybe should lift weights. People, unfortunately, oftentimes they damage their metabolism instead of building it up. And in the book, I will teach you how you can do exactly that. Build your metabolism up, build muscle mass whilst losing body fat. I explain which workouts are optimal for what goals. Whether your goal is build muscle mass, lose body fat, increase your energy, it's all in there. I explain why it doesn't make sense just to go on YouTube and follow a random fitness influencer, follow their program. Not good at all. If you have some fitness goals, if you want to build muscle, lose body fat, feel more energized, don't know exactly how you should work out and what program to follow, this book will help you tremendously. The next, and actually the last chapter, is all about high performance habits. And this is what separates my book from other fitness books, because those oftentimes miss this point completely. Now I'm just huge. I'm huge on self-development. You should know this by now. My goal is not only to build a physically appealing body, but my goals are so much more than that. I want to be functional. I want to feel well in my body. I want to be able to create cool things in my life. I want to, be productive and be efficient with my time, and really just to become the best possible version of myself. That's my mission. That's what I do, and this is what hypes me up, just to improve and optimize. And I put everything I do on a daily basis in there. We're talking about my morning routine, about my daily walks, about my experiences with meditation. I talk about the weekly goal setting framework I use, and literally just everything I do on a daily basis to improve and get better. All right, quick recap. If you want to know how I got from having an average life, a 9-to-5 job, to becoming a dad and a business owner, if you want to know why fitness and health is essential and why everyone who wants to be successful should prioritize fitness and health, if you want to know what you should eat to be more focused, be more energized, lose body fat, gain muscle mass, if you want to know what the workouts are best for you and how you can structure your training routine to get the best results possible, and if you want to know what things I recommend doing every single day to become a better person, then head over to www.thehighperformancebody.com and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. If you decide to get the book, please send me a message. Let me know how you find the book. Let me know what takeaways you get from the book, and if there's something that could possibly be improved, then let me know this either, because as I'm saying, I'm always trying to find ways to improve my life, my products, my service, everything I do. So maybe there's something in the book that you think could I explain better. Now Thanks for watching and talk to you soon.